propaganda I will not be falling for is the sudden hate of ChatGPT.
Ooh,
Because the way it's about to change my life for the better,
how?
we're like this.
How?
O sea, ChatGPT se ganó mis terrenos. Like,
Is
I
she-
am indebted to ChatGPT.
Wait, what? First off, what is she saying in Spanish? For all the Spanish-speaking folks, in the comments, let me know. 2, this says ChatGPT just told me how to pay off my credit card debt. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Utilizing what you have in order to come up with a plan. You know, we halfway there if you do that. But then if you actually follow through, if it was a good plan and something that you can actually do, yeah, use ChatGPT to help you figure that out. Be on the internet doing everything else. Why not?
Do you want to know why? I'm turning 30 next month. And qué tristeza that I'm turning 30 with debt, right? But it happens to the best of us, you know. Hot girls get themselves in a little bit of a financial pickle every once in a while.
No offense, but why do y'all say hot girls do like dumb, like, for example, y'all be like, y'all go to Sephora and run up credit card debt. Why do y'all say hot girl and then do like some dumb stuff, like girl math stuff? Beyond me.
So I decided that I want to clean up the mess that I made when I was 18, okay? So I go and say, chat, your girl's trying to be debt free. What can I do so I can fully pay off all my credit cards by December of this year? I listed every single credit card that I have open, the APR, and the current balance.
Okay.
I also added my rents and any other bills that I have that like need to be that take priority, right?
Right.
When I tell you,
What did it do?
it gave me a full detailed breakdown of what I'm going to do, how much I'm going to pay every month. And it still gave me a little bit of cushion of like spending money for me to have left over.
Now, I want to know, how many of y'all would do this? And I know a lot of y'all aren't going to like this because you are anti-AI. Totally understand where those people are coming from. But from a productivity point of view, I find it very useful. I find it useful when doing business, even in my personal life, like ChatGPT comes through. I see it like having a mini assistant at my fingertips where I can just ask it questions over and over, and then it can give me the best solutions, things like that. Now, I know a lot of people are using ChatGPT for, no offense, things that don't really matter, but imagine if you actually use it to enhance your life or to make your life easier or better. Or if you found the problem areas in your life that you struggle with and you started using ChatGPT or even the internet to help you figure out those areas that you are struggling with. It can be a real game changer. That's what I think.
Which is why I'm not understanding why all of a sudden you guys want to sit here and turn around and tell me that I have to cancel ChatGPT when you guys have a hard time canceling your problematic ass mama.
Wait.
And the subscription to that situationship who keeps giving you BV.
Hey, not the mama in the situationship. What are we talking about? Why are we canceling ChatGPT? Look at the comments.
Like, girl, what? Me using ChatGPT is a problem and is where you guys draw the line. Where?
Tell us about
En qué cabeza? I want to do a series on this, on just like how, be honest of just how much that I have and go through my paycheck breakdowns. I may want to do that. I may want to be in my little like financial era, even though like, I don't know yet because a lot of y'all be weird, but
I want to hear about the debt. How much? Like, what was the breakdown? And why is she so petty?
no, maybe. The last thing that I recently asked it, which I feel like deserves a different and whole video of its own, was a career shift and aligning what I do now versus what I'm curious and interested in doing next and seeing what the gaps are. Anyways, it's a whole thing. But let me know if you guys want to know what I did.
Look, I want to know, and I also would, while you're at it, ask it, does it actually pay? Does it have longevity? What the projections look like 10, 20 years from now? Is it likely going to be replaced by ChatGPT? These are all really good questions, but and ChatGPT could give you a whole roll-up of a whole bunch of different things that you might not even know is pertinent information, but because you asked it to tell you all the things you might want to know, it's just going to spit out all of this stuff, and you're going to be like, ooh, all this information at my fingertips. It could help you get a better job, get you in a better career. It can help you budget. Now, I'm not saying that it can't have errors, because it definitely can. ChatGPT makes errors all the time, especially when it comes to numbers. You got to like play with what type of AI you use and what model you use, and especially if you're using ChatGPT on OpenAI. But y'all, I feel like if you're not using ChatGPT, you possibly could get left behind, because this is kind of like a new wave. You might be getting done in by your competition or by just your peers, people around you, people at work. Like, they are using ChatGPT. I don't know what to tell you. You might not know it, but they are. And what's even crazier is she actually did reply one day ago, and it says here, love this, please share more, how ChatGPT is helping me get debt-free by December. Okay, let's see what we got.
Ask and you shall receive. Good morning, ladies. It is Thursday. And on top of y'all being demanding in my comments, I'm here to deliver.
Okay.
because I live to serve y'all, truly.
No.
Anyways, a lot of you guys were really curious on what it is that I asked ChatGPT to help me pay off my debt by December of 2025. Because one thing about me is I may be walking into my 30s next month with debt, but I am sure as hell not walking out with it. Okay.
Okay.
We are locking in getting debt free in 2025. I'm speaking that over all of us. And before I get into it, I need to remind you guys that this is my page and we're Jackie Aina strict over here. You're going to have to go argue with your mom before you sit here and think you're going to argue with me. I do not care.
And I would even go as far as to say, well, join the military if you want to fight, but different strokes for different folks.
I'm going to use ChatGPT until I die.
Oh.
Like it or not. But what you're not going to do is get under my comments and talk to me crazy. I don't know how to move the picture, so bear with me. I apologize. But the first thing I asked Chat was, hi, Chat, I wanted to give you my new credit card balances and ask that you help me create a payoff plan so I can be credit card debt free by December of this year. Okay. That is exactly what I asked it. So then she goes, girl, we're locked in. We're in this together. We're going to get you debt free. So then she goes on to say, please share the following info so I can build a customized payoff strategy for you.
Okay.
So you can't see it because of the comment, but it says 1, current balances, right? 2, the interest rate. So the APR percentage on each credit card. Then 3, your minimum monthly payments on the actual credit card. And then 4 comes your monthly income. So your paychecks. And this is after the tax has been taken off of your paychecks, right? And then your monthly expenses like rent, car, groceries, etc. Then it goes on to ask me if you prefer the debt avalanche method or the snowball method. And so I actually ended up telling it that I wanted to pay off my Wells Fargo card because that's the credit card that has the most debt. At that point, it had $7,000. Right now I think it has like 6,600. I mean, it's not that much, but still, I was like, period, I did that. So at that point, I said the Wells Fargo is my biggest concern because it has the highest balance, right? So then I go ahead and provide all the information that Chat is asking me for, right? And then it literally created an entire just formula for me. It says, thanks, based on your income and expenses, here's your financial snapshot. My monthly income for the entire month is $7,420.
Really good.
My fixed monthly expenses are $2,373, right? So available left over for me to pay debt is $5,047. Now the $2,000 number is my rent, my car, my insurance, like the PG&E, the split grocery bills, like all of that shebang, right? So that's what that number is. So when you go ahead and enter your expenses and your bills, you need to be very specific. Add it all, everything, your pet insurance, your renter's insurance, add it all, everything. It
sounds like a budget, an honest budget. And you know what? A lot of financial experts recommend you to look at your bank statements. Don't lie to yourself. Don't just say, I think I paid this. I think I paid. No, look at the bank statements because the bank statements are telling the truth. You eat out a lot, probably. You probably spend money on things that you probably don't know you're spending money on, but you're spending a lot of money on it and it adds up every month to a large amount of money. Maybe you need a budget for those things so you don't overspend. But yeah, it's pretty golly, look at these interest rates. 27%, 26%, 25%, 24%.
And so it just starts to list all of my current, obviously my current cards and the balances and in the order in which it wants me to pay it. But remember, I asked it to help me pay off that Wells Fargo because it's the biggest chunk that I have and I don't want it hovering over me, right?
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have the actual formula breakdown of everything I'm going to send to my credit cards every single month. And this might look a little aggressive and scary and intimidating to you, but this does not have to be paid off in one go. Depending on how many paychecks you get every month, you can divide that number, all these numbers by that, okay?
Overall, I think definitely, like she said, your numbers are going to be very different than hers because everybody's not making $7,000 a month. Like I know a lot of people wish they was, but that just ain't the case. And additionally, everybody doesn't have the same amount of credit card debt that she has and the same expenses. This is why it's important to look at what you got going on and see what you can do. Now, one thing I can say is that she has a plan. Now, I know a lot of people might not like the plan. They might be like, oh, you use a ChatGPT in order to make the plan, but she's making a plan. Now she's going to go through with the plan. That's even better. That is a step in the right direction when you haven't been paying your credit card debt or haven't been doing anything to really knock down the debt, right? So I'm all for it.
So for me, I get paid semi-monthly. So I would be dividing 1,000 by 2. So every paycheck, I'm sending $500 to my Sapphire card. And so, right? So every single month, I am going to be sending $4,000 to my debt, and I'm going to be keeping for myself and for cushion $1,000 every single month. Now, why is that important? Because if you shove all of your money to your credit cards and leave maybe like $50 in your checkings for yourself, what are you going to do? Revert back to using your credit cards because you need it to survive, right? So that's why it wants me to leave a good hefty amount of money in my checkings every single paycheck.
I can understand that, to be honest. We hear a lot of people on the internet say they've been trying to get out of credit card debt, and then, life happens. And of course, they're right back in debt because they were swiping the card. And that $1,000, I think it makes sense.
So that I'm not tempted to using my credit cards.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say is that I want you guys to give yourself some grace. A lot of us may be wondering, how the f did we get here?
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Sometimes I want to just sit down and cry and pull my hair out. Like, why did you, like, how? How? But we have to remind ourselves that a handful of us had parents who came here to give us a better life, not to necessarily teach us financial literacy. A lot of us didn't have that, that exposure to the financial world. So give yourself some grace. We're going to be fine. We're going to do this together. We're going to get out of debt.
So what I get from this video is to utilize your resources, y'all. If it's a budgeting app, that would help. Use a budgeting app. If it's writing down all of your expenses and all of your bank statements and being honest, do that. If it's reading a book, like, I don't know what she's holding up, but if it's reading a book on how you can be better with money, do that. Like, there are steps that you can take to become more financially literate, to enhance your financial education, and so you can be better with money. If you need to talk to a financial advisor, that's not a bad idea either. Like, a lot of people need expert help, expert advice, and if it will help you in your day-to-day life, because finances are a huge part of our life, why not? But I'm saying do something, because doing nothing is going to get you what? A bunch of nothing. And can we really be surprised about that? Not at all. So use whatever resources you have available to you, especially if they're free, especially if it's just YouTube or ChatGPT, like Google, get to typing in the search engines, like stop being scary. But y'all tell me what you think about all this down below. Do you like the use of ChatGPT? Would you use it for a budget? Like, I'm okay with that. I don't really got a problem with it. I know a lot of people like spreadsheets, but hey, do what you do. What works for you. It's about what helps you stay on track financially. We have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.